Well, hello. Hello there. We are going to work today on finding the equation of a line that is parallel or perpendicular to another line and runs through a certain point. So, let's start with parallel to y equals 3x plus 4 and passes through the point -4, 1. Okay, we want to know the equation of a line parallel to this line and passes through this point. Okay, if you remember from Algebra 1, you had a point-slope equation that looked like this. Y minus y from the point equals the slope times x minus x from the point. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to say, all right, we want it to be parallel to this, so what's the slope of this line? Well, this is in y equals mx plus b form, where m is the slope. So the slope of this line is 3. So the slope of a parallel line, and that looks like an 11, but that's the symbol for parallel. So the parallel slope would also be 3 because parallel lines have the same slope. So I'm going to use the slope of 3, and I'm going to use this point. So this is x from the point, y from the point. Those little sub 1s are just to tell you that it's from a point. Sometimes we have 2 points, like when we're finding slope, and so it would be x from the first point, y from the first point, and then you would have x sub 2, x from the second point, y from the second point. But here we only have 1 point, but the little sub 1 just tells you, hey, this is from a point. So I plug into this formula, y minus y from the point, which is 1, equals the slope, which I know that my parallel slope needs to be 3, times x minus x from the point, which is -4. Okay, simplifying, that's y minus 1 equals 3 times x plus 4. Then I'm going to do the distributive property. Y minus 1 equals 3x plus 12. And then I want to add 1 to both sides to make this y equals, and, oops, sorry, you can't see. And so I'm adding 1 to both sides, so these cancel, and I have y equals 3x plus 13. Okay, so that is a line parallel to this line, and it runs through this point. And so this is the equation of that line. Okay, now what if I want it to be perpendicular? I want the equation of a line that is perpendicular to this line. Okay, let's let it be perpendicular to 3x plus 4y equals 10, and let's let it pass through the point -2, 10. Alright, we're going to use the same formula again. Y minus y from the point equals slope times x minus x from the point. And we want to know what the slope's going to be. So we need the slope from this line. Well, we don't have this in y equals form, so we can't just look at it and say, okay, here's, it's in y equals mx plus b form. So we're going to have to put this in y equals mx plus b form so that we can find the slope. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides, and I'll have 4y equals -3x plus 10. And then divide everything by 4 to get y by itself. These cancel, and y equals negative 3/4 x plus 10 over 4 would reduce to 5/2. Okay, so now I know the slope. Now it's in slope-intercept form, and I know the slope is negative 3/4. So I'm going to erase this part just so that I have room, but you've got it on video so you can rewind. So I know the slope of this line is negative 3/4. So to find the perpendicular, and that's the perpendicular symbol, the perpendicular symbol or slope, it would be the opposite reciprocal. So the opposite means this was negative, this one's going to be positive, and reciprocal means flip this fraction over. So that's going to be positive 4/3. Okay, now I'm ready to plug into my formula over here. So I'm going to have y minus y from the point, which is 10, equals slope, which is 4/3, times x minus x from the point, which is negative 2. Okay, so that's y minus 10 equals 4/3 times x plus 2. Now I want to do distributive property, so that's y minus 10 equals 4/3 x plus 8/3. And then I want to add 10 to both sides. Now I add 10 to 8/3 because that's like terms. Neither one of them have a variable, but I'm going to have to find a common denominator. So on the left, the negative 10 and 10 cancel, and I have y. And on the right, 10, I'm going to change that to 30 over 3, because 30 divided by 3 is 10, isn't it? So now they have like terms. So that's 4/3 x plus 8 plus 30 is 38/3. And that won't reduce. So that right there is my answer. This is a line that is perpendicular to this line and passes through this point. All right, the end.